Hello, folks. How are you? Welcome to episode 100. Super excited about this episode. Quite a goal to have. We started this podcast, obviously, when this whole quarantine kind of business started in March. And here we are in July, I guess. No, August. It's August now. The first week of August. I guess I'm about a whole week behind. So here we are, episode 100. Still kicking, still trying to keep it positive in doing these interviews and doing these podcasts, and we enjoy it. And before we go any further, I'd like to take a quick minute to thank, obviously, all our sponsors involved. You see a lot of their products behind us. Without these sponsors, this would not be possible. It also wouldn't be motivating for me. We want to do this to continue to push our platform forward, but without the help of people like Envisage Sport, Beat It Canada, Dragon Energy, Maritime Madness, Ruddy Lad, BC Kimonos, DC Gear, the list goes on and on. Without these sponsors, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much for them, and thanks for joining us, everybody. Brad Call, you have it, my friend. Episode 100 in the books. Hard to believe. Thanks to Chelsea, my girlfriend, for putting up with this in our living room for the last 100 episodes and supporting blindly and doing what she can to help the brand. So I love you and thank you. Let's get into it here, folks. Episode 100. Let's start off with two guests here that are near and dear to my heart. Two guys who I know one, well, I guess I know them kind of both somewhat well through the internet, I guess we'll say. The first is Stuart Cooper. I like to call him a legendary filmmaker, whether he'll admit that or not. It's true. I can't tell you how many people have got into the sport because of this man and also continue to move on and forward and compete and become more passionate about the sport because of this guy. Stuart Cooper is not just a great filmmaker. He's a black belt based out of the UK, but now living over in Canada. Black belt with Diaz Combat Sports in Vancouver. And just a fantastic person, an ambassador of the sport, a fantastic competitor who's competed at the highest level of the sport too. And hopefully you'll see him at ADCC 2021 if that goes forward. Fingers crossed. So we'll get to him in a second. As well, Mr. Kev Johnson. This is a guy who supports our brand, supports a lot of brands around the world. As you can see, his product behind us, Envisage Sport. Man, this guy does it all. The management of the athletes, the behind-the-scenes treatment of the athletes, the media obligations of the athletes, on top of sponsoring and getting them around the world, and on top of that, with this coffee. So what this coffee is, it's a pre-workout coffee. We'll get him on to explain a little bit more about it, but man, it's tasty. A lot of athletes have used it that we've had on the show and locally and stuff. So it's, I think you're going to see a lot more of it here in Canada. Hint, 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 hint. All right, folks, let's get it started. Without further ado, Mr. Stuart Cooper, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
No, awesome. I appreciate you coming back and joining us. Thanks again.
Yeah, episode 100. You got through those quick.
There you go. That's it. And Mr. Kevin Johnson, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Stuart. Exactly. You're right. Episode 100. We definitely got through it quick, but it's people like you guys randomly supporting and sharing and even like little thumbs up on the comments, man. It goes a long way. So I appreciate that kind of stuff. And yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. How have you both been?
Yeah, doing great. Yeah.
Yep, all good. Thank you very much. And for me, I just want to say that, running a podcast, I've never done it before, but I imagine it's not the easiest thing to do. And, you've reeled off a whole host of names of sponsors and things like that for your particular thing, and which I think is a good thing because it shows you that people will gravitate towards positivity and someone trying to do a different thing and something good. Not to say that nobody else is doing anything good by any means, but what I'm saying is you've sort of targeted your area, and it's just expanded from that globally in quite a rapid succession. So I'm not surprised you're on 100 episodes. I'm quite surprised that you're on 100 episodes that quick, but I'm not surprised it's 100 episodes whatsoever.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys are good. And with Stuart, like you mentioned there, he is a legend, whether he would admit it or not. He doesn't need to because everyone else will tell you that he is. So he doesn't need to be. He can be as humble or as modest as he wants. We all know that he has rightly, implemented in people's careers, and he's continuing to do so. I know he's definitely given me loads of advice which I haven't followed. But I have, of course I have. But me and Stu have had loads of long chats about life in general and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a pleasure to see you as well, Stu, by the way.
Yeah, no, good to see you. No, thank you for the kind words.
It's true. It's very important to, it's like exactly like Kev said, Stuart, you have a massive impact on our sport, and and that's what kind of, I think, is the beautiful thing about you, is that you're humble. You don't give a shit. Like, you're just like, whatever, I'm just here to train and be a good person. And it's refreshing as hell.
I just enjoy it. I enjoy what I do, and I've never done it for money, so I think that's why people like my videos, because I've never done it, to really make a living. I've never made a living from my videos. So
yeah,
I just really enjoy doing it, making these films. Find it interesting.
I guess like anything else, passion, and with passion and hard work comes a beautiful product.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. And no stress, or minimal stress, apparently. I know that, if you do something you hate, it breeds stress. If you do something you love, it breeds passion. That's or something to those words,
Yeah.
So I think that if you're doing something you love every day, you're in a beautiful position.
Yeah.
And it probably won't pay the bills for a long time, A
lot of that too comes from, again, Stuart's humble, and you're humble too, Kev. And a lot of it, I think, comes from guidance, and I shouldn't say guidance, but like Stuart, obviously, when you started doing those videos, the list goes on and on, who you've been around in the sport. Like, I'm not talking like the up and comers. These are like the legends of the sport who you did videos on. So obviously you're guided in the right way of, okay, this is how you should act. Kinda.
Yeah. I was definitely in the right place at the right time when I started doing them, because when I started making these videos, there was no one else,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy journey. It's been I started making these videos in 2011, and we're in 2020 now.
Yeah.
So, it's really to see how the sport has changed in that time. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine what it must be from you as a participant and also a filmmaker. How you, it must be, the changes must be massive for you. Not saying that nobody else has seen those massive changes, but you see it from different perspectives, because not everybody films it, not everybody practices it, but you sort of bridge that gap, if you like.
So
that's why I think it's very interesting, your background in particular, for me anyway, and I know Kat as well. So
that's it, man. And everybody comes to this whole thing with a different story, right? And same as you, Kev, you like, I guess, like, okay, so Stuart's inspiring people through the way he does it, and I'm not going to say I'm inspiring anybody with this podcast, but you, like, with your with your build, with your brand, and the way that you carry yourself, and the whole kind of networking platform that you kind of do with your whole brand. Why don't you get into that and tell everybody about it? Because, some people may or may not know here that follow our brand what it is.
Yeah, they probably won't. Excuse me, and that's fine. So for me, I was quite naive to MMA in particular, and I actually, a few years ago, if you asked me, is it a sport, I would have told you flat out no, because I thought it was just two guys hitting shit out of each other for 10, 15 minutes, and that's from an uneducated perspective. Which is not uncommon still today, even though the sport is continuing to grow, which is fantastic. So for me, I went to Thailand after I had an injury for some rehabilitation more than anything, and to start trying to get a bit more mobility. And I thought that it'd be a good climate to do it in, because I noticed that here in the UK, the weather's not great. So I was getting really sort of a lot of aches and niggles from the damp temperature and stuff like that. So I went to Thailand. And I went for a month. I didn't know what to expect whatsoever. Rocked up at one of the biggest MMA gyms in the world, and it was like the atmosphere was just like crazy, like intense. It was like people were here. They're here to work. They're here to improve themselves, not just physically but mentally, which is a huge part.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, man, I went up to the sparring area, which you all know, and I saw these guys, and I thought, this is amazing. It's so technical. I had no idea in the beginning. like if you'd shown me a jiu-jitsu video, I would have been like, that's just two guys laying on the ground,
Totally
rolling around. I have no,
Yeah.
mate. Over the past 2.5, 3 years, no, it's not.
A lot of education.
and the thing is, like, I sort of hit the ground running because I didn't know anything. Everything that I was given from people like Stu was the real thing, the real information. You know, it was like a shortcut to the education. I don't claim to be a highly knowledgeable person in mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu or even origami. I feel like I had an express route to the knowledge of a lot of people like Stu and you as well, and like especially the guys and the team that we have. And yeah, mate, it's just been. I wanted to do something because I saw a gap, which was to help people. Little did I realize that actually in the MMA and jiu-jitsu world, there's a lot of people who need a lot of help. You know, so my door was being knocked quite regularly, as you can imagine, which is fine. I don't mind that. And there's been some scumbags and there's been some fantastic people who I've worked with, and yeah, that's life, isn't it? So that's how it works. But it's been an amazing learning curve for me, and I'm so happy that I'm part of this world, and like it's almost reinvigorated my life because I had this bad injury, like I said, in 2013, and I was just in a shitstorm. I didn't know where to go. I was, the mental side of it, not being able to get up and walk and like do everything that I wanted to do. So the mind games were crazy, along with the medication, of course, that they put you on. Excuse me. And for me, it's been like a huge outlet where I've just sort of thrown myself into it. And
nothing wrong with that, though.
No, and I'm really grateful for that, because who Stuart knows, Ali Mohammed was actually the first guy that me and him met in Thailand, but afterwards, like, we stayed in contact after I'd left. And I said, look, I really think that we could do something here. Like, I think I can help you guys, So we met in Turkey for a couple of days, and I didn't think he was going to turn up. I was like, if this guy doesn't turn up, what have I lost? 3 days. I'll just see Turkey for a couple of days, a few £100, no dramas, And I was literally in the hotel lobby till like 1 a.m. waiting for him. He said, oh, my flight's 4 hours, whatever. This is like 12 hours after he's supposed to arrive. I'm like, the guy's not coming.
No.
What was I thinking? That I could help this professional athlete? I don't
Welcome
know.
to mixed martial arts, eh, Stuart?
Yeah. And he turned up, and I was literally on my way to the lift when he came out of the taxi, and he was just like, I got the time wrong. I'm really sorry. I was like, no worries. And from there, mate, it's just gone skyrocketed, and we've just added this, added that, changed this, done this, like just trying to improve the overall, what do I want to say? I'm trying to improve the overall journey of an athlete.
Sure. Yeah.
Which has been my challenge. Has been, firstly, I didn't know anything. Secondly, I didn't know anyone. Those two things, right? The next thing for me, the challenge was that, there's a lot of people that talk a lot. They promise X, Y, Z. I can do this for you. They see, especially, young guys, athletic bodies, not like me. They're getting a lot of attention from the opposite sex and same sex for equality purposes. But there's a lot of people that they sort of gravitate towards that for that reason. They're okay picking up the scraps,
Oh, sure.
And, so I had to almost like go over the top with what I was willing to do for the guys, to show them that I wasn't here to try and take from them. Sure. And you guys will both know that in this sport, and I might get cold for this, so many people want to make a withdrawal with no investment in any single sense. You've got all these guys that are like 2-0, calling for belts and all this mad, and I'm like, why? Just do what you're doing, and that will come. You don't need to.
Well, it's that good old, the world we're in, of that beautiful instant gratification, right? And it's swipe right, got a belt. What do you think, Stuart?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, you've got a generation. I think it was Darren Till was talking about the other day, like Instagram fighters.
Yeah.
you know, they post a lot in their social media, like that their life, they're training a certain way, but you know, whenever you're posting that much in social media, you're not actually doing the work. You're not putting the time in, you know. So,
yeah, it's interesting how many, because I think it's a fair mix, obviously, but that's where I think again proper management comes in, like proper management, proper people looking after you, like Kevin said, like if you have someone looking after you and helping you facilitate those things, making it a little bit easier for you, then you have the time to, you know, if you can get some sponsors looking after you and giving you some money and giving you some gear, then you can, like Stuart said, you can focus on, like exactly like you did, Stuart, with your videos. You know, like you're that's kind of the way I kind of started, like from stuff like Stuart would do, like just random stuff, like here, you know, this is how much it costed, and facilitate your kind of business that way, and it's smart.
Yeah.
what year was it when you went to Thailand?
2017.
2017. So yeah, I was in Singapore then, so I would have just
you weren't there. It was actually the first time I saw you was actually when you did Quintet with Hulk.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've heard the guy. I heard your name, obviously, like being thrown around between the guys and everything. Oh, Stuart this, Stuart that. All bad stuff, of course.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's Stuart. And then I can't even remember how we started talking, Stu. Can you?
No, I'm not sure actually. I think just online, as you do, you know. I just think I was a new Hulk, and I saw Hulk was sponsored by Envisage, and then I followed you and started liking the post, and then we just ended up talking.
Yeah. And then Stuart's done some stuff for us, really cool stuff.
Yeah,
a couple of videos for us as well.
So talented, and I'm glad that he calls it Envisage, because I fucking brutal every time. Envisage. It's like I'm Envisage.
Well, that's the Quebec side coming through for you.
Yeah, maybe it is. God knows.
A lot of people do it.
Envisage.
A lot of people. Hey, Kat, at least you didn't ask me. I was asked by when I was registering the company in the US, I was asked by the guy that was doing it if there was an English translation of the word envisage. I said to him, it's exactly what's in front of you.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
How many do you take a day, Stuart? You grab one before you train. What's the Kevin? Why don't you and Stuart get into the benefits? Like, what's the benefits for you, Stuart? Obviously, you're drinking one right now, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got one right now here. I take
of the coffee.
I've got the one sachet, but if I'm going to work out, I put 2 of those bad boys in there, and it gives me a good little kick in the morning. But I find it's got really good ingredients in. It's got like I'm not sure how you say it, beta alanine. Gives you like MCT powder. I mean, it really is. I'm not just saying it. I really like this coffee, you know, and it's perfect for before you go for a run, before you roll jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So, it's one of those. It's funny because it doesn't, like, beta alanine typically gives you the tingles.
Yeah.
For me, right? But it doesn't.
It's too tingly, this one. It's just the perfect amount.
Yeah.
First time.
It depends on your. Sorry, go on, Stu. What'd you say?
The first time I actually tried beta alanine, I didn't really know what it was, and I think I took like 2 tablespoons of it. 2011, I remember, and I never touched it again for years.
Wow. How'd the kidneys feel then?
Not too bad. I just got bright red and tingly all over. I didn't know what was wrong with me. You know, I actually thought, right, what am I different? Oh, this. I took like 2 tablespoons of this, you know, this new white powder.
That's funny.
Wow.
That's funny because when I was testing the coffee, I made a cup up. I had some, and I just felt my face just going all weird, you know. And nobody else was saying anything, and I thought, oh, something's not right here. I just didn't say anything. I just sat in the corner, and then eventually the guy that helped me manufacture it said, Are you all right? And I said, yeah, I'm just feeling a bit. He said, oh yeah, that's beta alanine. And I was like, oh God, thank God for that.
Perfect. Add more.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a great product. It really is, and is it something that you've You're just obviously starting to market here in Canada and North America. Is that the eventual big goal for the product, and not just coffee, but the whole company and management side of it as well?
Yeah, so, well, it's interesting because for me, the main focus is obviously, there's two main focuses. It's the brand as a whole and also the athlete side of it. And I don't want to neglect either, because we have to have that figure eight loop, you know. So for me, we're putting money into the athletes for them to have an easier, if you want to call it, an easier life, but so they don't have to worry less, because the stress load's massive, and I know a lot of your listeners will know that already. And so we're trying to remove as much as that as possible.
Makes sense.
So, yes, we fully intend on coming across to Canada, the rest of North America, Mexico, and I know that my chief legal officer Luciano's listening as well at the moment. He's down in Argentina.
Nice.
And we've been doing little bits and bobs. I don't want to say too much because, excuse me, I've got something coming up in the next two weeks, which is sort of going to open the floodgates on the whole brand. So
Excellent.
Stay tuned for that one. I will definitely be happy to return and talk to you again about that in the future. But yeah, that's the intent, to get it out there. And you know, the reason we came up with the product was initially we wanted to make a sleep elixir, because we know a lot of people have trouble sleeping, especially the athletes, but it was almost impossible to find a dose that would help everyone sleep. So the guy that helped me manufacture,
A sleep elixir?
A sleep elixir, yeah. So, something with a lot of chamomile in or something like that, but we couldn't do it because it would have to be a massive amount to actually, I don't want to say this in the wrong way because it sounds really bad, but put you to sleep.
Yeah.
So we sort of flipped on our head and said, why don't we do something that's going to boost people, wake people up? And this is what we came up with. And yeah, mate, I couldn't be happier. And I'm really looking forward to a lot of people trying it. And we went for the coffee because I noticed everyone around me was drinking coffee. There was athletes. I thought, why taste their coffee? Why change their taste buds?
Yeah. Everybody, that's the thing. Everybody kind of tries to reinvent the wheel with a fruity drink or whatever, and all these stupid ass flavors. But really,
most of them are gross.
Yeah.
They really are.
Sure.
Most of them are gross.
Yeah.
And of course, there's going to be people that don't like our product. That's just a given,
Sure. Yeah.
We have really good ingredients in. There's no like artificial sweeteners in there.
No. It's all totally natural.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that will give you any negative side effect whatsoever.
And it's not these pre-workouts. They're full of like sucralose, aspartame, and they're like loaded with high amounts of caffeine. So afterwards you just crash and you feel awful. But this is like just perfect.
This is the other thing. So athletes should know what this is here. This is the Informed Sport approval. Now what that is a banned substance testing program that was actually back in March. The UFC announced that if an athlete tested positive for a banned substance, which was, using a product which was Informed Sport approved, that they wouldn't be banned. They would receive a suspension because the traceability of the product is so easy. Whereas a lot of other companies will do their tests would be once or twice a year. This is tested every single batch before I'm allowed to put it out in the market. So if there's anything in it, it's not even going to be released. So the possibility of contamination are near zero. And that's why they sort of shoulder the liability, if you like, and we say that is what it is.
Yeah, that's huge. So
yeah, absolutely.
Massive. I don't want to cut you off here, boys, but we got just a couple minutes left. I don't know if you're interested in sticking around for Frank or not, but you probably got to get going. It's what are you guys interested or are you on your way?
I don't want to cramp Frank Trigg style,
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Cool. Yeah, me neither. Actually,
I'm just pushing in. Hi, Frank.
So once you come on, I'll do a little intro and we'll get going. But Any final, Stuart, we did get a ton to talk about you here, too much, and get updated on your career. Obviously, you're back to training. I've been seeing everybody kind of training together. You're with Quan and Deccan and everybody out there. That's good to see, man, making your name out there.
Dejan the other day, I saw he was on your podcast the other day.
Yeah, great guy.
Matt Quan. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be going up training with Ben Dyson. He's someone you should have on your show, actually. Another Englishman. Qualified for ADCC a couple of years ago. He's based in Vancouver. He's a monster.
Is he
with you?
He's at another gym. He's the head coach at a different gym, but he's a really good guy and very talented grappler. Cool.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, love to have him on for sure. And I'm sure Kevin loved to talk to him too. Yeah, it's maybe those Englishmen. You guys like to stay tight, and I don't want to
not to associate.
Yeah, it's you guys. There's actually. So we were talking about. I was talking to Stuart. We're going to try to bang off a grappling event in October. Kevin and I were speaking about it too. So hopefully we can pull that off out here.
Right away. I feel like I'm in shape now. I'm ready to go, but there's just nothing. I was aiming for 2020 to be a very competitive year.
Yeah.
I got off to an okay start. Then I lost my last match, but I was like, right. Then I got fired up to go even more, but then this pandemic happened. So
yeah,
I'm looking to compete somewhere.
Goddamn COVID.
But then there's the ADCC trials, Poland, October 3rd. So I'm aiming for that, but who knows if that's even going to happen.
Is it 3rd? I thought it was 5th. That might be something else.
I thought it was the 3rd of October.
No, you're probably right, Stu. You're probably right. There's something else that was on I can't remember what it is now, but something.
Have to accept this 14-day quarantine, unfortunately, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, no, it totally will, man. Well, that's awesome, boys. Well, I got to thank you so much for joining us here tonight, episode 100. Super honored to have you on, and great to catch up with both of you. You're big supporters of our brand, and we're big supporters of you guys back. So I'd like to thank you again for joining us. Lots of love to you guys. And any final words for both of you?
No, just the new DS Combat Sports Gym is going to be opening middle of September. So
nice.
Make sure you come check it out.
Okay, awesome. Get a hold of Stuart.
Guys, Canada is coming.
There you go.
I love it.
There you go. Mic drop. Awesome, boys. Thanks so much again for joining us. There you have it, folks. Kev Johnson from Team Envisage Sport and Mr. Stuart Cooper, the legend himself. See you guys. Awesome. Great to have those two on with us. Fantastic guys, great ambassadors of martial arts, and fantastic supporters of our brand. Let's get into it with our second and final guest here of episode 100. Really excited to have this guest. Not every day you can have a UFC Hall of Famer on your podcast and representing up here in Nova Scotia. Anybody who's a fan of martial arts obviously is a fan of Mr. Frank Trigg. Again, he's 21-9 as a pro. He's a commentator. He's been involved in many, many things. He's involved in acting now, kind of behind the scenes. He's also a ref and a judge and all this kind of stuff. And anyway, he's probably done these interviews about a goddamn million times talking about the same kind of shit. But we're going to bring him on and see what he has to say and go from there. Let's bring him on without further ado, Mr. Frank Trigg.
Hey, how are you?
Great, man. How are you? How's things?
Good. New normal. I mean, normal for now. New normal, I guess. New normal.
So I hear you. You're in California, correct?
Yeah, LA. So we're on complete lockdown. The only place that's worse right now is Hawaii.
Jeez.
So, as far as the U.S. is concerned, we're just not smart people.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
No one wants to listen.
When you got New Zealand saying Americans can't come over, like New Zealand, they're telling us we can't come over. And your whole industry is built on tourism, and you're saying we can't come over.
Yeah, that is. Shit, I guess it is, man.
Work. So, I'm a mask wearer. I don't complain about wearing the mask because whether it works or not doesn't matter. Right now, they're telling us we have to wear it. If I want to go back to work, whenever filming starts back up again, I'm going to have to get a COVID test. So I can't even get COVID. Yeah, am I going to die from it? No, I'm not. I'm going to survive it. I'm going to get through it. It's going to suck for 3-4 days, and I'm going to be okay. But the reality of it is, if I have it and I get called for a job, I can't work. And if I don't, and I haven't worked since March 12th. So you got to, it's just it's not that hard, man. Because now I need you to wear a mask in case you have it. Yes, you'll survive it. Yes, it's just the flu. Yes, I get all that. But if you give it to me, then I can't work, and I screwed up my life. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Put on a mask, man. It's not that hard. I couldn't agree with you more. Like up here in Canada, I will say, we're up in little Nova Scotia. Like, I don't know if you were ever up here to qualify or like.
yeah, I was. I'm from Rochester, New York.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
So from the East Coast to East Coast of Canada, I spent more time on the East Coast of Canada than I did on the West Coast.
Oh, nice.
So I would go to Canada every summer. Like people talk about, oh, you're in New York. Like, how do you like New York City? I've lived in New York City 3 times in my entire life.
Yeah.
I've been in Toronto. I can't even count how many times.
Yeah.
Like I still have friends in Toronto. Like I go to Toronto all the time. And Nova Scotia is one of the spots, and I really fell in love with Oak Island. So
cool.
I was really into it when I was a kid, trying to figure out the mystery, what pirate actually buried it there, and why they still can't figure it out. Now they got a reality show.
Yeah.
Trying to dig into it, trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I went up there quite a bit to Nova Scotia just because it's in that area. So
I
know a little bit. I'm not gonna tell you like I'm an expert, know all the streets.
No.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah, it's definitely small town life.
It really is, man. It really is. And like we have no cases right now, but I was driving down the road today. I saw a guy with him and his wife, and they both had gloves on and a mask driving the car, like just minding their own business. And I'm like, good for you. Like whatever, doing your thing.
Funny,
right?
Here we make fun of people that are in their car by themselves with a mask on.
Totally.
Like you do understand that we're not sure if the car filter stops it. And there's a filter in every car that pulls the air in from the outside and runs it through your vents. And it's hot in the valley here in LA. And I'm down by the water, so for me it's Fahrenheit, but it's 73 right now. And but I'm in the valley, it's like 102. So everyone's got the air conditioning on. You're like, you don't know if that filter stops it or not. So wearing it in your car, it kind of makes sense. You're running air conditioning, but still, I make fun of them too. Like, oh, look, you got your mask on, you little funny fool. Look at you.
It's interesting though, because I always kind of thought that driving, like especially like you say, you're in LA, like all these people that you're driving in this crazy amount of traffic, and everybody's blowing their shit, and it's going right through your let's turn this AC on and suck it in.
I will say this: I love COVID for the fact that there is no traffic. So when I have to go to I road bike a lot, so when I have to ride up to Pasadena and hang out with my group that we road bike with. They're all based up there. So I'm the only one that's on the west side. So I have to drive all the way up to there. It's 45 minutes. Oh, if there's traffic, I'm not going. Like, it's just like, I'm not making it today, guys. Like, it's just no way. It's like, it used to be, we won't start until like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock after traffic is over. So it's not as bad for when you get there. But now it's like, it's a breeze. It's 40 minutes every single time, 40 minutes each way. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's super easy. But when everything opens up again, back to an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're like, yeah, I'll see you guys on the weekend. I'll be able to during the week. You're
gonna stick it out though. I see. Obviously people to point like, no, Joe Rogan's leaving California. Man, I guess that's his choice. But
it's easy. Like we could pack up the apartment today and move back to Hawaii and be in Hawaii in a week. Like not a problem. It's not that hard to move if you have the ability to be able to move. My wife can transfer her job back to Hawaii.
Yeah,
I'm an actor stunt guy, so it's just wherever the job is where I work. And Magnum PI starts filming September 6th out there. So.
Nice.
6, 12. So 12. So, there will be some work, not a lot of work, but there'll be some work. And I can fly back to the mainland and do work here. I mean, it's not that hard to move. But you got to remember, Joe Rogan's rich.
Super fucking rich.
For him to go, I'm moving to Austin and I'm building this new studio and I'm doing all these things. Yeah. You just signed a $100 million contract with Spotify. Yeah, you can go you can go get a new house. People, when you have that kind of money, he's got what we call FU money.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what his money does. Now he makes so much money. It doesn't matter what he does with his money. Like he can't spend it all. He's at that level now. He can't spend all of his own money. So for him moving to Texas, like who cares? Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
Other actors that I know that like high level actors that have been around forever have all moved to Texas or moved to Florida or both. Like Kevin James fled California years ago, moved to Florida.
Is it tax related? Is it just because of bullshit?
The whole situation is really bad. Like, and it's not like, oh, it's only bad in LA. It's only bad in Venice Beach. It's only bad in Santa Monica. It's only bad, in the beach cities. Homeless in California is bad everywhere, but it's extremely bad in Southern California because of the weather. You don't get the overnight freeze. Like if you go to Northern California, if you're homeless in San Francisco, in the winter, you're going to freeze to death. If you're homeless up in Sacramento and in Northern California, you're going to freeze to death. Like you're towards Canada. Like, you're bad Vancouver.
Yeah,
like you're going to freeze to death, right?
Yeah.
Down here, it doesn't get that cold. Like we might hit the 40s. But you're gonna freeze to death. If you got a shirt, got a cover, got some ratty blanket, you're gonna make it through the night. So homeless down here is really bad. It's a really bad problem. And then taxes. Like I kind of figured out by putting a couple different things together that if let's just say they started some program and there is no more homelessness, starts tomorrow. No more homelessness, right? It's just all the homeless are gone.
Yeah.
our taxes would drop by 5%.
Wow.
5%. Because half the stuff we're having to spend on extra police, extra fire, extra EMT, because we have this homeless problem, right? Then you have to have extra because we had a typhoid outbreak last year in downtown LA. We had typhoid.
Holy shit.
Cats were biting the homeless were biting the cops were getting typhoid.
Wow.
That's all passes, right? So those cops are now laid up. They can't work. They got to have other cops cover their spots. You have to have an extra overflow of police officers to handle this mess. Then you add in the people having to clean their the city having to clean the sidewalks, having to take shovels and hazmat suits to clean up Skid Row. All that costs money. Like, where does that come from? Well, it comes from our tax base. Yeah. You want to move the homeless someplace else. You have these government-funded homeless shelters, these government-funded food shelters, like these. That goes into our tax base. Like, all this has to get paid from something. It comes into our taxes. So we have a high tax rate here, and it's really hard to survive here. Like, there is not a property. I'm trying to think. Hold on. I don't know of a property within 50 square miles of me, 25 square miles of me. It's under $1 million.
Jesus.
Under $1 million. Not one property, under $1 million. We're talking like apartments, condos, townhomes, $1 million. So what job are you doing?
Yeah.
We can spend $1 million in your home.
Yeah.
What job is that?
Better be a good one.
So think about it. Think about it. Say you put 20% down on $1 million home. That's $200,000.
Yeah.
Who's got $200,000 in the bank account to put down on a house?
Yeah, that's very true.
We'll do 10%. Well, then obviously interest rate doubles. Now you're looking at $8,000 a month payment for your house. You're like, rent. Yeah. So it's like California's bad. What's going to happen is it happened under Schwarzenegger when he was our governor. He came in with the idea of trying to fix it. Once he got in, he realized that politics is politics, and it's a different entity. It's not like running a business. Like, this is the issue. And he got rid of part of our deficit, but not a lot of it. Now, if you look at his record, the deficit did increase, but so did cost of living, so did the interest rates, so did inflation. Okay. So, like, he got rid of part of it, but because all these other factors came into it, we're still in debt. Our state is broke. That's the reality. Our state is broke. It's just there's not enough money coming into what we got going on, and now with half the industry shut down, there's not getting any money from filming. So all the productions that normally film are not filming right now. So there's no taxes coming in from that base. People aren't paying their mortgage payments, so not getting property tax. Yeah. You might get it back later, but right now you're not getting it, and they need the money right now. So it's just that's the nature of it.
It's such like an entertainment state,
especially when you're talking about like from Central Coast down to San Diego, because you can make it look like it's raining. You can make it look like it's a dry desert. You can make it look like I've shot scenes for NCSLA, and I've been in the middle of Egypt and literally had people like, "Wow, that was a great party in Egypt." You're allowed to take photos and post once the episode. Like, where in Egypt were you when you filmed this, or where were you in Libya? And where were you shooting? Like, dude, we were at Disney Studios. We're ranch. We're up the street. Like, it wasn't that. It was just what it looks like. You make it look that way. Yeah. And then if you have to have snow, Big Bear. Everyone skis right up in Big Bear, so that's all your snow scenes. I went and shot. Actually, we're in March. The last job I had was on SEAL Team.
Oh wow! We
shot an episode that hasn't aired yet because they couldn't finish it. It got closed down. It had like 5 days left to film. It got closed down, and we were up in the snow. We were doing a snow scene where we're terrorists running through, and then the SEAL Team, Bravo team comes through and takes us out as we're running through. We're chasing the lead, and it was like this whole scene. It was great. It was a great scene, but we're up there. It's in the snow, so it's not like Southern California.
Yeah,
it is entertainment because this is how people survive. And then you get a little bit goes into San Francisco. A lot of iconic scenes are shot up there. They're shooting. They were shooting the new Matrix. Carrie Moss and Keanu Reeves were doing some wire work between buildings up there and set before they close everything down. And likes to shoot some scenes up there. But California as a whole, mainly Southern California, but California as a whole is the entertainment industry. And it's like, and the reason why it is because the weather. Like, that's the reality. It's the weather. It's nice. It's right
beautiful.
Now blue skies and the sun's shining, and you might not be able to hear it. It sounds like bells in the background, but that's shroud. That's halyards hitting against the mast on sailboats. So sitting outside my house. So it's like it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. So whatever scene you need to get in your director's mind, your producer's mind, we have it within 20 miles. Yeah. It's all right here. And then add in Palm Springs and Palm Desert, and add in San Diego, and add in like Seal Beach and all that stuff. Like, obviously, like,
it's dreamland, really.
It makes sense. Yeah, but everything costs.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, even growing up in Canada, like, again, up in here in little tiny Nova Scotia, like, growing up, you watch American TV for the most part, right? So the whole idea, you're like, oh, when you go, you're like, I want to go to California or whatever, right? But fuck, you have no idea. Like, go there and buy a $15 beer and see how long you want to live there.
Dude, no. Like I'm a martini, scotch, bourbon guy. Like that's what I like. My wife likes high alcohol beers, so basically you have to go to craft beer places, right?
Yeah.
You know, martini's like $15 now. Like I remember martinis were $7.
Jesus Christ!
Like, what are we doing here? What is happening? Why is this alcohol more expensive than that alcohol?
Yeah.
So this is the one thing that COVID taught us. You don't know how much money I am saving by being at home. People go, oh yeah, because you're not going out, you're not doing this, you're not doing. I'm drinking more, and I'm spending way less. Why is it? I'm realizing it's like, oh yeah, it's like, and I'm lucky. I'm extremely lucky. I have two really, really good friends. One is a super high level chef.
Nice.
Owns a bunch of restaurants. Has won all the chef competitions on TV.
Oh wow.
His partner is a buddy of mine that I knew years and years ago. Lost contact with, but he's his mixologist. He's a real mixologist. You walk in, you tell him what you normally drink, kind of what your flavor is. Like, I want something sweet, I want something dry, I'm really thirsty, like whatever it is. He makes you the perfect drink, and you don't even know what the hell's in it. Like, you have no idea what he did.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I call him, I'm like, hey, can you tell me how to make this particular drink? Because it's what you made it. Like, I see the recipe online, but I feel like it's not right. He's like, oh yeah, change this out. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, change that out. That's what I gotta do. You swap this one ingredient for this other ingredient. That's what it is. Like, all right. And I call him like, hey, I'm gonna start cooking like these eggplants. I want to start cooking these squash. And I got this real nice cut of beef I want to do. What should I do with it? He's like, oh, the chef was like, oh, just do this, this, and this. I'm like, salt, pepper, and olive oil. Like,
yeah, that's it.
I was spending $55 at your restaurant for this piece of steak. And that's he's like, yeah,
that's
man,
so true.
Yeah, man, that's what it is. I'm like, all right, I guess so. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I won't be going back.
Yeah, but they're also too. That's the caveat. These are my friends.
Yeah.
So this Sunday, there's a bunch of us who are all hanging out. We're all going to meet up there at the restaurant. We're all going to support because this is my buddy. I want to keep his business open. So I can't give him enough money to pay his salaries to all his employees every month. Mm-hmm. I can do my part and go up there a couple times a month. So am I going to big chains anymore? Absolutely not. I'm going to little small mom and pop places that I know the bartender personally. I know the waiter that's working that night personally. I'm going to help them out. Like that's when we go out. That's what we do. And here, it's only outdoor seating. I don't even hear about this. So this is awesome. So they shut down all the restaurants, shut down all the bars, and everyone's like, "Well, how come I go to a restaurant but I can't go to a bar?" Well, because you can't socially distance people at a bar.
Yeah.
Right. You have to take out so many tables and take out so many spaces. And these people have standing room, would only be able to stand to keep 6 feet apart. You can't do it. But if they're at a table where you're feeding them food, then they're not going to be on top of somebody else. It's going to be spread out a little bit. So that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So they said, okay, no more indoor seating. So a lot of these places are like in like little strip mall places. You're like, there's no place to have outdoor seating. Like I had the sidewalk and I had the street. In Santa Monica, they went and blocked off half the street.
Oh, wow.
So they pushed everything in. And now it's super narrow, and it's like they dropped the speed limit by 10 miles an hour, and they put barriers out. Those Fs, I don't know what they're called, but they're like the ones that like they're angled at the bottom. And
yeah.
Up. They put those all along the street, and people now have outdoor seating. And you have to apply for your license, and you have to. It's part of a licensing sequence. But now you have outdoor seating, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, when this is all over, that outdoor seating is still going to be there. So they went from like losing 18 seats because they only have so many seats outside. So all of a sudden gaining 23 seats by the time it's over, which from a business standpoint means I have 23 more seats that I can flip over throughout the day. That's going to give me more clientele, more people going to be sitting and wanting to eat, more people going to be out there spending food. This thing is actually going to help the restaurants and the bars at the end, the bars that serve food at the end, because they have an outdoor seating as well. And they're like, we're going to keep it regulated. If you guys show us that this works, we're going to let you have it when it goes through.
Beautiful.
You know, it's like that is awesome. That's
so smart. Like, well, that's
doing a lot of different places. A lot of different places are doing it too. Like Glendale and Burbank are the same things. You know, Santa Monica, I'm by there, so I see it quite a bit. You know?
Would they not like? Because it's kind of like the same here, Frank. Like now, like some of the restaurants that like craft beer, like in California, craft beer is huge here. They couldn't buy it at a restaurant and take it out with them before.
Canada, that's so weird.
Oh no, it's massive. Like fuck yeah.
Bunch of alcoholics up there, drinkers.
And pot too. What a shock, eh?
I know, right? Well, thank you, Trudeau. You got to give it to him on that one. He made it legal. Like, I don't know why we haven't done it down here.
Yeah.
Just make it federally legal. Like we'll talk about it more later, but I'm in federal drug testing right now. So no CBD, no THC, Obviously, none of the other drugs, no heroin. They're testing for all that stuff. Like none of that stuff, none of it. And it's like you can't have CBD. He's like, no, because it's a federal test. So they don't make the differential between CBD and THC. They don't have the separation. It's marijuana's in your system. That's all. Okay. It's federal test.
Yeah. At the end of the day, yeah. I guess if that's what you want, that's what I'll give you, right?
Yeah.
But it's fuck. Like anyway, going back to that, they changed the laws here, so now you can take when you go to dinner or whatever, you can buy beer and take it out with you if you want to buy 2 or 3 beer or whatever. And
it has to be closed, right? It's closed.
Like,
you can't walk out with an open beer.
No, exactly.
Okay, but what about wine? I buy a bottle of wine, but I only had 3 glasses, 1 more glass left in the bottom. Can they recork it for me? I can walk out with it, or do I have to finish that bottle?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
They'll recork here, and they have places. A lot of the places, like you bring your own wine. It's a $15 fee for us to open that bottle of wine. But then, if you haven't finished it, we put the cork back in for, and you walk out of it.
Which is great because a lot of people like to go and have a nice meal, but they want to bring their own wine and they don't want to pay your stupid.
Well, it's not only that, but also, so California's got a lot of wineries. We have a lot of wineries here, and there's some wineries that you can't get their wine anywhere else but at that winery. They don't distribute it to anybody else. So there'll be some people. We've been at tables because my wife's kind of a winey, so she takes it. We go to wine places all the time.
Yeah.
We want to do, and she's like, we'll be at dinner, but hey, look, I've never seen that bottle before. What is that? And like, all of a sudden, that person next to us will get fully in a full conversation with her. And all of a sudden, we're like, okay, next time we're up in Napa, or next time we're in Temecula, next time we're over here, we'll go check out this winery and see what it's about. We go down and we found some great wines that nobody has ever heard of. They've never been anywhere but at that winery. I'm like, so we go, like, oh yeah, I know we're going to this particular restaurant. I'm going to have the red trout. I'm going to have the Brussels sprouts. I want this red to come with me. This is the red I'm going to have. I know that's the red I'm going to drink. And I bring it in, and anything else on the menu just doesn't compare. And it's also, go back to your original, it's $45 for a $12 bottle of wine. It's $110 for a $50 bottle of wine. It's like, okay, I'm not doing it.
It's interesting though, because fuck, I don't know, to me, like that's going to make you go back to just like you just said, I can go there. I'm going to have that red trout. I know that that's what I like, and I can bring my bottle of wine. You're going to be more comfortable. You're going to tell more people. It's a better experience.
And we usually start with them. It's just one place that the red trout's at, called Hillstone, and they don't have any outdoor seating. We keep calling them, and they have a sidewalk, and they have the space to do it. I'm like, why you guys not have outdoor takeout already? So the chefs are there, and somebody's there to handle the orders. Just bring in a bartender and a waiter, and have one waiter and one bartender, and they can run all the tables on the outside. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to do it because they believe this is going to be overshoot. And they're like, it's gonna be over quickly enough. We'll be back to full board here pretty quick. I'm like, okay, all right, I get you understand. I understand what you're trying to do, but we go there to have a martini, to eat the particular food sets that we want, and to drink a bottle of wine, and then we can't do it. So tonight I'm making hamburgers, and I'm trying to. And Jill is in the back trying to figure out whether we're going to drink a beer or she's going to drink. I'm looking at my phone and she should text me. Yeah, she actually texted me from the other room. This
nothing wrong with that.
And I'm like, are we going to have martinis or we're going to have beer tonight? We're trying to figure out what is that going to be for our dinner. And it might be we might have anything. We just might not make a decision. It's not drink at all. But it's just like you got to now plan your stuff out, plan your days out, really wrapped around your meal. Like, what are you going to do for dinner? What are you going to do with it? How's it going to work?
Yeah, it's wine is kind of like that. Well, I guess you're a bourbon and you say bourbon scotch kind of guy. So it'd be the same for you, I guess. There's different bottles that you're going to look for. What's the area like out there for bourbon and scotch?
So it's all imported. We have to bring it in from other states, bring it in from other countries. All of our scotch obviously comes in from Scotland, like everybody else. Our bourbons all either come from Kentucky or Tennessee, depending. Well, Kentucky for the bourbon and your mash and your whiskey goes up from Tennessee. It just depends on what we're doing. For me though, I've got. I got 25 year scotch in there. Macallan 25. I got a Glenfiddich 15. I have a bunch in there. Bullet bourbon is my normal everyday bourbon. Like I'm just having a drink. But if I got special friends over, so here's what happened. My brother is a diplomat and he's stationed overseas.
Oh wow!
And so when he was overseas, they're isolated. It sounds great, but you're kind of isolated because you're in a foreign country where he speaks the language. his kids are learning the language. His wife might understand the language a little bit, but it's still like a kind of a struggle. She hang out with all the other Americans or the other English-speaking cultures. Might be the Canadians, the Aussies, the New Zealanders, depending on who's over there as well, whatever area you're in.
Yeah.
Right now he's stationed in Indonesia, but before that he was stationed over in Sarajevo.
Oh, wow.
And he's just like, he's got like resting barrels now. So you know what a resting barrel is?
Yeah, for the actual product, right?
So he has like resting barrels, and he'll go get like, okay, so I have like this 25-year-old Scotch. I'm gonna rest it in this maple barrel. I'm like, what? He's like, oh, he's on a whole new level. And because of that, I started getting into some different like off-brand stuff that's kind of weird, like little like kind of like the wines, like stuff you never even thought about, or stuff I haven't seen, but I keep it kind of hidden and keep it tucked in the back. So when people come over randomly, they don't just get, oh, I see your Arbor 10 in the front.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my Macallan 25 in the back. You know what I'm saying? Because the older it gets super expensive, man. I have my godson's father gifted me the 25.
Wow.
And it's a $2,200 bottle of alcohol. You're like, to try and buy that in a bar? You're looking at $300 to $400 a pour.
Holy shit!
Like, it's just ridiculous,
Wow.
But you get your taste, you get your flavors for it. And you kind of hide that stuff around, and you kind of keep it out and spend it on special occasions. But there's still like my wife drinks Stella as her daily drink. She drinks Stella. Like that's 4.5% alcohol. She's drinking water. She says, "Yeah, I'm thirsty. That's what I'm drinking. I'm thirsty."
Don't make fun of me. That's what I drink. Yeah, Stella.
I have a buddy of mine.
Heineken.
I used to make fun of him all the time because he would order like a vodka soda or a vodka rocks or something with a lime.
Yeah.
My buddy Paul, and he would then order like a Coors Light. And I'm like, why the hell you want a Coors Light? And I made fun of him for months, like to the point I was getting on his nerves. I was making fun of him so much. Like to the point it kind of put a little friction between our friendship. Because making fun of him so much drinking a fucking Coors Light. Because you don't get it, do you? I go, no, I don't get it. Like, why are you drinking that shitty ass beer?
Yeah.
It's horrible, in my opinion.
It is gross. Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Bud Light, same way. Gross.
He's like, because I'm thirsty. I go, and I had to stop and think about it. And it took me like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, I've never seen you drink water. You don't drink water the whole time. He goes, no, I don't drink water. That's my water. First I drink my water, and then I drink, and then this other drink is drinking. Oh man, I'm a dummy. I never thought about that. I never thought about doing that at all.
Him sitting there with like a professional athlete and stuff, like to no shame.
He's a professional stunt man. He's done some crazy.
Okay, so
he's done some crazy stuff, like flip cars over, rolling down hills. Jumping out of burning buildings. 40 feet up in the air. Like the dude is legit. He is a legit stunt guy. Yeah, he was the double on Hawaii 5-0 for the lead for Steve McGarrett's character.
Wow!
Steve McGarrett. He was his double. Al Gloughlin's the person, and Paul Cabrera is the double. And Paul doubled him for 6 seasons, 7 seasons of the 10. He is a legit stunt guy, and comes from driving, like a driver guy. And he does stuff with cars that there's no way that car's going to fit through that hole. It's not going to make it. He makes that car not only fit through the hole, but does it going sideways, sliding.
Oh shit! It's interesting to me, like a stuntman. Like, how did you get into it? And B, like, do you have any of those, like, when you're doing it, you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Okay, so there's a lot of questions in there. First, I was in Hawaii, actually teaching a seminar, and a buddy of mine, TJ Thompson, who used to run the Icon fights out in Hawaii. I fought Jason Miller and fought Robbie Lawler. So TJ's a buddy of mine. TJ's like, hey, I'm robbing a bank. I'm working on Hawaii 5-0. I'm robbing a bank. Why don't you come watch? I come out there, and this guy comes over while I'm on set, standing there, and starts talking to me about my fights, and he knows more about my fights than I do. And he's like, hey, do you want this? Is like a Tuesday, and I'm not on vacation. Like my seminars are on this time on vacation. He's like, hey, what are you doing on Friday? He goes, you want to come work on the show? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to be an extra on the show. It's gonna be awesome. I love the show. I've been following it since I watched the old one with Jack Lord, and now I'm deeply into this new one because Scotty Khan's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Who plays Dano on the show?
Okay,
so I was like, yes, I'm into this, like, because I want to see this guy be great in jits and the whole bit. And then come to find out later, the lead is also a jiu-jitsu practitioner. So like, you find all this stuff out later. Like, but I was like, I definitely want to be on the show. So I show up, and it's not a little one-liner like fill out your name, address, social security number. It's like a contract. I'm like, guys, I'm not in the union. I've done some stuff already, but I didn't get my union card. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, no, I'm good. We got you worked out. You're good. I have to stumble down So what I said before is I got, a stair fall was like my first scene. It was like my first time on set. It's not true. It's not a stair fall. When I first did it, I thought that was what a stair fall was. It was not what a stair fall is. Stair fall is you tumbling head over heel, smacking down the stairs, flailing everywhere. That's a stair fall. I stumbled down some steps, smacked into a wall. A robber was running down the steps. He bumps into me, slams me into a wall, and takes off and gets around. That was it. That was my whole scene. I get the check from that 6 hours of being on set, and I start doing the math, and I realize I can make more doing this than I can fighting, because I just had at the time I didn't realize it, but I just had my final fight against Jimmy Wallhead. I'm like, there's no reason for me to fight. There's no reason for me to fight anymore, because I can make this way more if I put my passion and dedication into it. And then I went and Jill is very good about finances in the house, right? She's very good about where the numbers go. She's like, and I remember I started this before we were together, before we started dating. And then as I progressed, same thing with reffing. As she was there at the very beginning, but it wasn't like I started just before we got together. But basically, our entire relationship is me reffing and stunting and acting. That's been our entire relationship.
Oh wow, interesting.
She never knew me fighting. Like she didn't meet me until after I was done fighting, even though we met at a fight. Like she never knew me as a fighter. So I'll talk about that later too, because she didn't even know me. She didn't know who I was. I was like, you like fighting? I know who the hell I am. And that's so she goes through and looks at it. She goes, basically, it costs you $12,000 to become a stunt guy. So people call me like, hey, I want to be a stunt guy. Other fighters are calling me like, hey, I want to jump into stunts. Do you have 12 grand handy right now?
Yeah.
Or 12 grand that you can make in the next 3 months that's expendable. And they're like, what? What do you mean? Like, I do this. I'm like, you don't understand. You have to have a lot more skills than just fighting, just playing football, just playing baseball. You have to have more skills. So I had to go take a driving course. I had to learn how to slide cars around corners. I had to learn how to take a fight course just because I knew how to fight for real. I don't know how to throw punches on a camera. Like I don't know how to make that work and how to break the line between the camera and your nose. I don't know how to do all that. Like I had to learn. Because I had to pay for that. You have to take privates or a group class with these other guys and learn how to do fight sequences, like how to move. So you're choreographing. You'll walk into this like fight training. Like Arnold Chun is really good at it. He's been a trainer. He trained a bunch of guys. Tyler Woodley was the biggest name that he trained.
Okay, yeah.
Conditioning. But Arnold's amazing. He's amazing. It's funny. The guy, Jeff Caliente, the guy that started me in the Hawaii Five-0 stunt coordinator. Yep. Those two do fight seminars together all the time.
Oh, beautiful.
And Arnold, I started with Arnold because he's a guy I knew. He's a fighter. Jay Haran was like, hey, Jay does stunts. He's like, hey, go ahead and jump, talk to this guy. And you go and you learn these things. You do a bunch of passes. And then throughout the entire class for that night, you learn how to choreograph into one big scene. And then all of a sudden the scene gets shot. And then he has like a couple people around the edge with their cell phones or little cameras, nothing, not like full camera stuff, but they film the whole thing. You go, this is what you just did. And then you start looking at yourself like, oh yeah, like they saw too much of my face. Like that's no good. So as a stunt guy, it's called getting burned. You've seen my face now on this episode of the show. You've seen me die on this show. I can't now work the rest of the season. Most of the times 2 seasons because I got killed already. So you always have to hide. It's always a side view. It's always a side thing. Well, I have a bad ear. So if you see this, then it's a problem. So I have to keep these things around.
Oh, wow.
So I have wigs around to cover my ears up. So I'll come on set and they'll be like, hey man, there might be a problem that I'm okay, I'm gonna put my wig on. Like what? They go, yeah, I have a wig on my stunt kit. So with all my pads, all my mouthpieces, all my hard pads, my soft pads, my back pads, my chest pad, my headgear, like everything I got. And there's 2 wigs as well. And I put the wigs on, like, let's work. Then hair comes over, gives me a little brush, puts a little hairspray in it. I go about my business. But they're able to hide the ears so that I can continue to work. So it's like stuff like that, that you have to do a lot of stuff. And it costs a lot of money to get into that space. And you're forever having to may not have to take them out to eat, but you definitely got to go meet people. So with acting, I said this in my acting reel. This is what I've done in the past. This is what I would like to do. Can you see me doing this part that I'm auditioning for? If you see me being able to do that part, then we get to go do it, right? That's how you do an acting, right?
Yeah.
Like stunts, you got to know me. You about to hit me with a car. I got to know you. Like we got to have meals together. We got to have a drink together. Like I got to trust you to hit me with a car. Like when I do car stuff, if I don't know the driver, I'm not doing it. 100%. And if I show up on set and a guy's about to hit me with a car and I haven't met him before, I'm like, hey man, just because I know you hit me with a car later today, you mind if we hang out for like 45 minutes, an hour, just get to know each other real quick? I just want to, because it's just my way of doing things. We'll sit there. We'll find out what kind of coffee he likes. We'll find out what kind of eggs he likes with his breakfast. You find out all this stuff. You start talking about his kids, what his kids are doing, how he met his wife. I'm just like, okay, I got a relationship with you. Okay. So how fast are you going to be when you hit me with a car? What's going to happen when I'm in the windshield? What's going to happen when I'm on top of the roof? What's going to happen, And so you have to ask him these questions. Like, okay, so you went back and you're like, and earlier you asked me, has there been somebody like, wow, what the hell am I doing? Right?
Yeah.
So have been training fireburns, have been working on doing fireburns, but have been like little arm stuff, like just like a little arm, and they come and put it out. A little legs thing, hey, kicking your leg, and they come put it out. Nothing crazy. So I was doubling an actor on Hawaii Five-0, Jeff Caliente, same guy. The way that it was written was I was going to do the fireburn, right? I show up day of, and the director's like, no, this other guy's going to do the fireburn. I'm like, oh, okay, it doesn't make any sense. He's not doubling the other guy, so I don't know. Whatever, okay, whatever. So the whole day, I'm like, okay, I'm mentally, I've checked out. Fire is dangerous. Fire is dangerous. Just understand this. Yeah. The things that stunt people do, and why there's not a category in the Oscars for stunt, at least for stunt coordinator, is asinine.
Yeah.
It makes no effing sense, especially when you have like guys like, The Rock and Chris Hemsworth and all the Avengers and Robert Downey Jr. all talking about, like, if it was not for the stunt guy, I would not be here today winning this award, because the stunt guy made me look great in Avengers. They made me look great in Black Panther, and they just leave us out there. It makes no sense to me why there's a category. But also too, some stunt guys, like, we just like being in the background and like everybody know what we're doing. So I've checked out. I'm not doing fire, so I've checked out. I'm screwing around, I'm having fun. I'm not whatever. All of a sudden, Jeff comes and goes, "Hey, the director messed up. You are doing the fireburn. Walk upstairs with Mark Chadwick and get dressed." I'm like,
oh shit.
Hold on. What am I doing? Now, mind you, I've been practicing elbow to wrist and like knee to ankle. That's all I've been doing, right? He's like, "Oh, it's a full fireburn.
Oh god.
No head protection, right? And short sleeve shirt."
What the hell?
I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. Now, Mark Chadwick is one of the best fire guy burns guys there are out there. Him and Tommy Kramer, like, I would try, if they call me right now, like, I need you to do a fire burn tomorrow. Are you going to be there? Yes, I'll walk you through it. I'm in, no problem. Don't even care what the fire burn is. Don't even care. I know you guys are going to be there. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm walking in. I trust you guys. Let's talk. Mark takes you upstairs, like, look, put this on, put this on, put this on, put it on in this order. This is how you do your stuff. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. And he'd get me on to put the gel over my exposed skin, my face. Like, if you could see before, it was like this thick of stuff on my body, like covering up my face. And I didn't have the beard because the guy was shaved, but had everything else was fully covered. Neck, head up was all covered. And then I get lit. My shirt, my pants, everything is completely on fire. And I'm burned for 8-9 seconds. They put me out, and that was it. But it took like an hour and a half, to get prepped, to get ready, to get things put together, to get going, and get down there and then shoot scene. It's crazy. It's crazy. I was not expecting it. I was not prepared for it. I didn't mentally put myself in that space. All of a sudden, like, right now, go do it. Okay, gotta go do it. It's my job. It's what we do.
Yeah. True. You're a pro. I guess that's the thing. Yeah, I guess in that, from fighting, do you think that was obviously fighting is without said. You have to be mentally there. Do you think that helped you?
From wrestling.
Like,
from wrestling.
no,
from wrestling. Yeah. So like, I never thought about like. Not making weight wasn't even an option. It didn't matter. Doing the right things to recover was just what you had to do, no matter how. And so, like I said, I rode bike, and I rode with a lot of guys that rode with, like Tony Cruz is probably one of the best. He's one of the top Americans that ever ride. Right.
Wow.
Of course, you got Armstrong and Lamond and some other guys obviously thrown in there, right? But George Hencappy, some other guys, but definitely Tony Cruz is one of the better guys that come out of America, right? And we rode on Sunday together, and I talked to him on Sunday. So I remember the pro. I remember the ex-pro, ex-high-level pro.
Yeah.
I'm fat as hell. I can barely get up the hill. Like, I'm falling apart. We're only an hour into a 6-hour ride. Like, I'm just dying,
man.
And he's like, you knew this was going to be bad, right? When you showed up today. I go, yeah, I knew it was going to be bad, and you still came. Yeah, he goes, you got back in your car and left. You could went back down to the beach and rode flat. Like, it would have been fine. But you knew before we took off for doing hills, you didn't even think about quitting, did you? Well, no, I didn't think about it. because you love to suffer. This is what makes an athlete the best athletes, no matter what sport they're in. Doesn't matter if it's darts. Doesn't matter if it's what's that crazy ass sport you guys love? Curling. Doesn't matter if it's curling, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The top end love to suffer. And you start talking to these guys like, hey, remember when you first started? You're like 6 years into the sport. You know, a younger kid. You're still like, how many days you forget to eat? Oh yeah, man. I can't even tell you how many times I forgot to eat. Like I've been just like, nope, I got to practice. I don't got time for this. I gotta get changed or get my homework done so I have a lower grade. I'm not going to wrestle. Like all of a sudden, my dad would be like, "Are you cutting weight?" Like, no, we haven't eaten for a couple of weeks. Why? What's wrong? I was like, you haven't eaten anything all day today. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I haven't eaten. Not one thing. Had some water, had some juice, you know, kid stuff, you know. Yeah. But like not what ho-hos and ding dongs, all that stuff was unavailable because they keep our body fat down. So that stuff was bad. So I never had it. It was just like, oh yeah, I forgot to eat. So dad is like at 9 o'clock at night having to make me dinner. I'm like, Dad, I'm so sorry, I totally forgot. So like stuff like that happens all the time. I talk to a lot of my buddies who are ex-professional baseball players. They're like, if they don't, sometimes they have to tell us. You do realize you've been here since 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
You didn't start till 7. You got to eat something, and you forget. Like it's just like I'm just trying to, dude. I'm the 4th outfielder. I'm on by a thread right now. I got a batting practice. I got to show I can hit. Like, so batting practice becomes the game for them because you may not be able to get it. You gotta crack a ball out of you gotta make sure that everybody knows that you can hit. And then when you're playing catch, you gotta make sure you're doing the weird stuff and running around. Like you forget food. And that's just one thing. Everybody is like that, and people love to suffer. So from wrestling, I learned how I love to suffer. I love the hot box. I love having to cut weight. I love being dehydrated. I know I can go 2 days without food.
Wow.
If the apocalypse hits, I know I'm gonna be okay for 2 days without food. I'll be angry. I'm pissed off. I'm gonna start getting weak, but I can survive. I know for sure I go 24 hours no water. I know for sure I can make that happen. For sure, no problem. If we're stranded, if my wife and I are out sailing and we're stranded and there's only enough water for her, she's getting all the water. I know I can make it. I know this. So I'm not worried about suffering. Yeah. So all of a sudden somebody goes, hey, look, I know the scene has changed. You're now going to go run and shoot. You got to run and shoot, run and shoot, run and shoot. You got to turn it. You got to run. The car's going to be stopped, but you're going to flip over the hood of the car, and then you're going to land your feet. You're going to run and another car's going to hit you. I'm like, I didn't rehearse any of that. I wasn't even in that conversation. What happened? The director thinks your look is better for it. You got to do it. Okay, man. There's no question about it. It's like, this is my job. It's what I do. And really, it's not a job. Like, I don't want to think it's not a job. I've never had a real job ever in my life. Do I get paid for what my passions are? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I make a lot of money doing it. You know, I applied. I didn't get it, unfortunately. COVID happened. And then it kind of pushed, but I think it went to somebody else. I haven't heard back, so I'm assuming I didn't get it. You know, I feel like they're wrapping up filming again. But I was going to play a gay father. I was going to be married to this other man. This scene, be playing this gay father, and there was a kissing scene, like a full on. And they weren't like, oh no, it's not like the normal gay that you see on TV. It's like the little pack and it's like moved on, or with a simulated, or it looks like the camera. They're like, no, they wanted a full on, passionate, like whole thing. And I was like. And my wife and I had to go down a rabbit hole. I'm like, look, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull this off. Like, I don't know if we'll make it. She's like, we'll make this thing work. And we kind of coached it and went through my acting coach. We're like, okay, we can make this thing work. And sold it for the camera.
Awesome.
Made the thing work. Like, wow, this is really good. But it's like, this is my passion and part of your passion. I don't care what your passion is. There's things about your passion you don't like. You know, when I was doing my podcast, I can't even tell you. I could. I just won't. Guys that the higher ups wanted me to interview, and I'd be like, that's gonna be the worst interview ever. It's gonna be the strangest interview ever. Like, let's just not do it. Let's just like, no, this is what the higher ups want. They're paying your bills. You guys, okay, I didn't like to do it, but I loved it. It's my passion. I had a passion for at that time for podcasting. So there's stuff about everybody's life that you don't like to do that you got to kind of work through. But you're like, okay, you know, making meatballs. It's not always great to have your hands in the meat, but eventually when you get to eat the food, you're like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's okay. It's all right. Kind of worth it. That's kind of what goes on. You know, it's like sometimes you get in, expect one thing, and something else happens. You got to learn how to fly. I'm sure you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So Chris Pratt's got the orb. He's talking to Benicio del Toro, right? He drops the orb, and he pops back up again. He's got the orb in his hand. Unscripted. He dropped it. He literally dropped the orb. He pulled out of the bag, and he dropped it. But he's such a good actor. He picked it up and stayed right in character and kept on the other side of him, give him an eye sign, stayed in character, and that's the scene. That's what made the scene. It was an accident. It was completely unscripted. And stuff like that happens. You got to learn how to stay in that point. You got to stay in the whole time. So yeah, you might show up thinking, hey, I'm gonna do this thing. Hey, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna do this thing, and this is what's gonna be great. You get up there, you're like, everything got cut back. On Inhumans, I was Medusa on Inhumans grabs me with her hair around my throat, picks me up in the air, shakes me in the air, spins me around, and drops me. Well, of course, it's all wire work. I mean, I'm not breaking any rules by telling you it's all wire work. So I get picked up by wire, and I get spun up in the air, and I get dropped to the ground on a wire. We show up. We rehearsed it for 3 days. They paid me for 3 days worth of rehearsal.
I can imagine. Yeah.
We show up, all gone. It's all gone. Now they want me to spin around the floor like a top and fall down. I'm like, what? Like, yes, you need to spin around and fall down. Like, this makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand what you're doing. Like this, but that's what they wanted. And so, like, we go into one idea, and the whole idea changes. Same thing as a fight. You have an idea, you have a game plan, then you get punched in the face.
Yeah. I guess not.
Like,
anyone ever get punched in the face on a set? I'm sure it's been close.
I got kicked in the face by Purdy Weeks, who plays Higgins on Magnum PI. A spinning back kick caught me she's wearing heeled boots and caught me right in the face. And it was, I knew I was going to get hit, so I knew to go with it because I knew I was about to get hit. So it wasn't like a surprise hit. She's supposed to swing and kick, but she wasn't supposed to make contact. She made contact with my hit the ground, whatever. And I'm laying there, like, cut. I get back up. I'm like, and she's like, I hit you. I'm like, did you hit me? I don't think you did. Like, I don't remember you hitting me. I didn't feel like you hit me. And she's like, no, I definitely hit you. I definitely kicked you in the face. I'm so sorry. And she's such a sweetheart. She's such a pleasure to work with. And I was like, I don't think you hit me. I don't think you hit me. And my buddy Holland Diaz, who doubles Jay Hernandez, who plays Magnum, he goes, no, you definitely got kicked in the face. I'm like, there's no way I kicked in the face. There's no way. Jay Hernandez comes and goes, no, you definitely got kicked in the face. I'm like, guys, I didn't get kicked in the face. They're like, you have a shoe print on your face.
Bravo.
I'm like, what? Like, yeah. And so, like, they take a photo and they show it to me. Yeah, I got a big shoe print on my face. And they're like, okay, ready to go again? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I stand there, and everyone's standing there. I'm waiting for makeup to come over and take the thing off. Makeup never comes over. They're like, okay, rolling. They're like, hold on. He's only got a shoe print on his face. Do you want guys want to take it off? You want to remove it? Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. A little good continuity there. Yeah.
Sometimes like happens all the time. I've hit people on set. I've hit other stunt guys because you practice, and something happens. They step funny. I step funny. I'm 6 inches to the left. They're 6 inches to the right. All of a sudden, make contact. But you got to know. You also got to know how to pull your punch. You got to tuck it in or put it out and make it work so it breaks the line with the camera, but it also so it still looks real. And they can do it. And there's some directors are like, there's some stunt coordinators like, I don't care. Look, there's 17, 18, 19 times, 20 times. Like, you're hitting the ground, hitting the ground. You're like, come on. There's some guys like 3 takes. If we were having 3 takes, we're not getting it. It's getting cut. So just so you guys know, you got 3 takes. Like, okay.
Nope.
And so one of the things I pride myself on, take 1, take 17, take 20. They're all the same. I'm in the same spot and the same thing hitting the ground, the same hit every single time. Like, I did a scene for The Rookie with Nathan Fillion. He's famous from, if you're a geek like me, he did Firefly back in the day. He did the movie. The movie came after he did the series because they want to have a continuation of it, which moved into Castle. He did Castle.
Okay, yeah.
And then now he's on The Rookie. He's basically an older guy, got divorced. He's a rookie on the LAPD squad. He's older. He's like an older guy that's a rookie. Right?
Oh, yes.
So there's a scene where I go in, he hits me in the back of the head with a brick. And it's a rubber brick. It's a fake brick. But he makes contact. Boom. Drops me. Where the director's like, you hit the ground so well. I need to now catch you actually making contact with the ground on a close-up of you just falling to the ground face first. Like, all right. So I kind of screwed myself. Now I got to hit the ground from face first. And so, thank God of David Rowden, the stunt coordinator, man, that dude, he's like, get on your knees. Because I'm doing it for my feet. I'm not very tall. Yeah. It's still 5'10" hitting the ground, right? Yeah. He's like, go for your knees. So I got on my knees. He goes, put your butt on your heels. That's where we're going to film it from, right? So when you sit up tall, slowly fall into frame, then it speed up as you hit, so it won't be at full force, but it's going to look like it's real. I'm like, all right, okay. First take, I screwed up. Kept my head up. So I hit the ground. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. No, I don't do it. The director's like, dude, everything was great, but we saw the gap in your head. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm sorry, I screwed up. I got it. This is the last thing we'll have to get, but I can do 100 more if you need to, but I got it. I got this worked out. Go. Bang, hit it. He's like, holy crap, are you okay? Okay. I'm like, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. Need to go again? If we do go again, let's go again right now. Let's go again right now. He's like, no, hold on. He looks at it, plays it back, looks at it back again. He goes, no, we got it. Like, you sure? I can do it again. You sure? Now I want to go. No, I want to go again. Like, let's do one more for safety. Let's do one more for safety. Let's just make sure we got it. Let's make sure you guys like, no, we got it. Come look at it. I come and look at it, and it looks like my head bounces off the floor like a basketball. Didn't touch it. Never made contact with the floor. The first take, I gave myself too much space. I give a little bit less space and just find that fine line of not smacking down. But because I figured it out, now I'm like, I'm not going to get hurt. Let's go a bunch more. Yeah. This might hurt. I don't want to do it again. So I'm like, let's shoot up. So, but that's the game. But you got to figure it out. And you got to have guys you trust and guys that understand what's happening. And and there's all sorts of stuff of different movies. I mean, if you go on YouTube and search like mistakes that made the movie, mistakes in movie history, it'll be stuff like should not have been there, was totally ad-libbed. You've seen Usual Suspects.
No, yeah.
Okay, the lineup scene. They're all laughing. The lineup scene.
Yeah.
Right. It's supposed to be serious. The director is flipping out. He is so pissed off. I think
really?
He's so mad that they're laughing. They just finished lunch. Benicio del Toro is dropping ass. He's farting the whole time. Every take, he's dropping ass because he just whatever they had for lunch, and they're all laughing and giggling. And Baldwin punches him. He punches Baldwin back, like slaps him back, and comes out and he's like
ends up being the most famous picture of all.
And that's iconic for that movie. It's like it was a mistake. So you'd be surprised at how many times it's a mistake if these actors stay in character, if they do what they're supposed to do, like remember their lines. Like Zoolander with Ben Stiller. He's talking to David Duchovny. I forget what Zoolander is. He's like, when we're talking about male models make the perfect assassin, right? Yeah. And he's like, why male actors? Or male models. And then he gives him the whole thing. And then right after he goes, yeah, but why male models? And Duchovny, being the professional he is, just ad-libs and goes, I just explained all this to you. Well, Stiller forgot the next line. He forgot what he's actually supposed to say. And just said the same line twice. And that was a hit, and it made it to the movie. It's like, that's the one scene I remember of both movies. That's the one scene I remember. You're like, it was a mistake. So these things, the mistakes do happen. You'll talk to fighters. We'll bring about, talking about fighting guys. And you look at like, Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva. Chris didn't want to break Anderson's leg. He didn't want to lose his leg because Anderson kicks hard enough that he'd start losing the ability to shoot because that leg's going to be sore. He knew he had to start checking that leg. And did Sarah and Longo work on him to check that leg? Yeah, not like that though, not shin on shin. He didn't want to do it because it was starting to hurt a little bit. And obviously, he's like, no, but that's how you're supposed to do it. And he realized he hit the right spot, the right area, breaks his leg. You're like, now Weidman's got confidence coming in there, And you saw him suffer this last fight. You saw Weidman suffer back on 85. You saw him suffer. You saw that he had a hard weight cut, but had recovered, but not fully. Is there, but not quite all the way there. Can be a terror, but needs a little bit more help. And that comes from that wrestling background of like, you got to suffer, I got to find a way. And he found a way. And because in his head, and I've been there, which is why I can kind of speak to him, even though I didn't talk to Chris. I don't talk to Chris. We're not friends. We don't our families don't hang out. We have drinks together. But he's got that wrestling mentality, and I have the same mentality, so I understand what he's going through. He's going through it going, I don't know if I'm winning this fight. I got to find a way to win. I'm not sure I'm winning this fight. I'm not really positive. My feeling, the way my arms are heavy, my legs suck, and I'm breathing so hard. Like, this is really hard. And he gets the victory. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. Now I'm sure he's already seen the fight. Now because it's been a week, I'm sure he's seen the fight. And he is 100% like, oh, yeah, I won that fight. Now he's able to see it. But in the moment, you're like, what the hell's the score? Because, man, I don't know if I'm winning this thing. Like, what's going on? And it's that suffering mentality. It's that ability to be able to push through stuff and understand that not everything's going to be peaches and cream. Not everything is great. Not everything is great. Look at Conor McGregor and Chad Mendes. Chad Mendes beat the brakes off in the first round.
Yeah, he did.
Beat the brakes off. Conor was nowhere in that fight. Not even close to being in that fight.
He hurt him too, didn't he? I think he hurt him as well.
Yeah, because he came with the overhand right, bang, and it took him down. And then Conor kind of found a way up. He hit him again, took him down, mauled him. Then Chad ran out of gas. And Conor was like, oh, nope. And Conor's another guy. As for as much crap as he talks and all that game he plays and all that, but his biggest attribute, and all the champs, Stipe and DC are fighting on Saturday, and Felice Herrig after being laid off for 2 years, and Carla Esparza, and you pick anybody that's ever been a champ. They love the suck. They love it when it sucks. And they find a way around the suck, and that's just who they are. And that's what makes them so amazing as competitors and people and as men and women in life, is because they're like, it's not that bad. I'll find a way. Your gym is closed. You can't train at Team Oyama's anymore. It's closed. The gym is closed down because of COVID. We'll find a way.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're grappling on the beach. All of a sudden you're hitting mitts on the beach. You're throwing kicks. You know, you're in the park. Like you're gonna find a way. Yeah, it's not comfortable because nobody can see what I'm doing, but I got to do it. This is what I have to do. Like it's not the weights I'm used to picking up. It's not the way I'm used to doing stuff, but I'll find a way. That's kind of what all these every athlete. Not I'm not talking about fighters. Every athlete. This is what they're like. I don't care if you're the wide receiver, Roddy White, or Tom Brady. Everybody's got that position where like, it sucks. Yeah. Here it comes. I'm gonna get hit. But I gotta wait just one more hundredth of a second to let go of that ball. I'll be okay. I mean think about all the Maple Leaf fans. Think about Maple Leaf fans. They obviously love suck because they suck forever.
They do, man. They do suck. I don't know it must be so embarrassing because the Raptors come in and kick ass and in a couple of years, and then Leafs can't even make the playoffs.
And they're owned by the same people. They're owned by the Rogers. Like, how can you not, and this is Canada's sport. How can you not put this together? Like, what is your problem? Even the Blue Jays are better. Like, what is
yeah. That's not saying much either. The Blue Jays suck.
Well,
man.
I mean, still, but baseball. Baseball is hard. Baseball is a very difficult sport. There's a lot of factors that get involved in that. It's not like, you can't have two strong lines. Have your first line, your second line be really strong, and be able to pull off as long as your line 3 and line 4 are good at defense and be able to win the game. It's not like that with baseball. Because remember, baseball is the only sport where the defense actually controls the ball. They control the game.
Yeah, very good point.
So because they control, defense is actually in control, it makes it a little weird. And so baseball is very hard. There's a lot of different, because it's very mathematical. You got to understand, angles and imaging and he made contact, but did he get the whole ball? Did he get part of the ball? And so it's very difficult to put together. So baseball, I understand having teams like the Cubs, the Red Sox back in the day, they sucked forever. Then all of a sudden they win a championship. It's just, that I get. But come on, Toronto. I mean,
I take
at this point.
I take that back too, Frank, because I'm a big believer that if you're not a professional athlete, then you shouldn't be able to call a professional athlete like he sucks or she sucks, because you're fucking suck. You're not a pro, so you can't say that. You're a professional. You can say they suck.
Well, no, I can't. And that's why fanatics. You have fanatics. That's why they're fans, because they have passion about the sport. They can have an opinion. And I'm gonna pull back the curtain for some of your fans here. Love our fans, absolutely love our fans, love them. Enjoy, try to answer back every single one personally. So something that takes me a while. Like I try to talk to everybody on all my social media. Like I try to be engaged. But I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're trying to hit me up about reffing, and you're not a professional referee, I understand your opinion. I will listen to your opinion. I will see you talking to me. I will engage with you. But the reality of it is that your opinion does not matter at the end of the day, because the guys, the other professionals, are the ones that have to tell me what I screwed up on, what I did right, what I did wrong, right? So I can have my opinion about how whatever the LA Rams are doing. I have my opinion as a fan of the Rams football team. But the reality of it is, when I go and talk to the players that I know, I can't talk shop to them because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I can't talk shop. I can tell you guys suck. Like, what the hell? You guys blew up the game and whatever. I thought you had it. But really, I know at the end of the day that my opinion is just an opinion. It doesn't matter. The coach, the owner, the other coaches, that's what matters. That's what actually counts. So like, that's why people come at me for like certain fights. Like, oh, you're a horrible ref. Like, why are you reffing? You're trying to kill that guy. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, okay. So I play devil's advocate. And I was like, okay, where should I stop the fight? Like, you should stop the fight right here. This is where you should stop the fight. Right there at that point. Yes, right there at that point. Well, you're actually completely wrong. You're not even now. I know that you don't know what you're talking about because you're completely wrong. I should stop the fight.
Just being an asshole.
I will admit I was late, but I wasn't late where you're saying I was late. So I don't know what you're looking at. So that's a whole different game. So it's like, but you got to understand too that especially for MMA, without the fans, there is no MMA.
No.
There is no MMA. And you say that, what about baseball without fans or hockey without fans? Well, let me tell you something. Hockey almost shut down entirely after that last strike. They were never coming back. It was hockey. The Professional Hockey League was over. NHL was done because they strike. Because in America, which is It is the biggest market for hockey still. Unfortunately, it's the least amount of viewers. Everybody in Canada watches, but it's still a huge market down here as far as television revenue. As far as revenue,
California.
And so they're like, we got to figure out a way to get the fans back in stage. They need the fans to come back in, right? MMA is built specifically because the fans want to see fights. You still see it today. Why does the UFC not pay attention to the rankings? Shouldn't 1 fight 2, 3 fight 4, 5 fight 6, 7 fight 8? Why do they make these jumps? Why do they do that? Oh, well, it's timing. This guy just fought. This other girl needs to fight now. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. But also, too, the fans wanted to see Rachel Ostovich versus Paige Van Zandt. The fans asked for that fight. So the fights get to happen. Mm-hmm. If you want to see the Las Vegas Raiders, you know, play the New York Giants, I'm not even sure if they're in the same whatever.
Yeah, me either. Actually,
okay, I'm just pulling names on my ass right now. So, you know, whatever. Yeah. The fans can't write in and talk to the commissioner and make the commissioner make that match happen. It doesn't work like that. MMA, you can make that happen. MMA, they do it all the time. Like, don't come like what, you know, who should we put Gaethje against next? Yeah. Everybody comes out. Yeah. What they're doing, they're trying to find out which fight will get the most pay-per-view buys if they put it together, because that's what you're asking for. What should we put together? Obviously, every fight Conor's on is going to be a huge sale, right? Because Khabib beat Conor. Every time Khabib fights, it's going to be a huge sale. Not as big as when Conor fights, but definitely a big sale. If GSP ever comes back, which why I don't understand his mindset on this, is he just not just anyway? Yeah, he's winning. He's not like BJ Penn who keeps trying to come back and win. That makes that makes less than sense. You really got to think about a GSP fight. Like, why is he coming back? What is he doing? He's coming to disrupt stuff because he comes in, he retires again. Like, if you retire twice, it stops. Like, you're done with it. But now he's talking about wanting to fight Khabib, I guess, or something in April or some crap. Like, whatever. Hate the whole idea of it. I think it's stupid. We'll watch every single interview. We'll watch every show about it. We'll listen to everybody talk about it. Hate it. Totally hate it. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. This is stupid. Why are we doing this? What'd you say? Can you repeat that? Yeah. One more interview. Okay, one more interview. Like, it's the dumbest shit in the world, but I watch everything. I watch it all. Yeah. And I find a pay-per-view. So it's like that's the same with these fighters that, like, they, you know, the fans dictate kind of what's going to happen when it comes to a fight. The fans dictate it. And that's why MMA, when I say we can't surround out the fans, it's legit. A lot of the matchmaking will not happen because of it. You know, because without the fans being involved, it just does not happen.
Very true. That's a great point. Now that you kind of pointed that out, and you know, it's right in front of you all the time. And even as a promoter myself, I never kind of clicked in like, holy shit, you're right.
How do you think I got in the UFC? If my first fight, UFC 45 against Matt Hughes for title fight, 2 things happened. 3 things. Right place, right time. But that's not that. Like, that's the third thing. It's not really a thing, though. It was like right place, right time. Matt had cleared out the division twice at that point. I was talking mad smack outside the division. That's how it happened. People got on the old mixed martial arts forums.
Yeah,
like,
on the ground.
So all of a sudden, somebody got in Hughes' ear. He beat I don't know who he beat. I forget. I apologize. I'm not that good at history of MMA. Yeah. He beat somebody and called me out. Called me out after the fight. It was like, oh, okay. And then next week our phones are ringing. They're calling my manager trying to get me to sign for the UFC and do this little bit. And I'm like, geez, like this is all you gotta do is talk smack. That's all you gotta do. That's all I did. That's how the fans made that fight happen. That's how.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. It really is how it goes. You know, and the reason why I ref, you know, my fight game got me into refereeing quickly, right? I advanced a lot quicker than most people. My schedule allowed me to ref a lot more. I don't have a regular 9-to-5 job, right? Yeah. I was able to ref a lot more because I was stunting and acting, and as you don't work every day. Sometimes there's periods of like 3-4 months you don't have any work, and so I was putting that together. And then there's times where I was just like, I'm just going to ref. I'm a ref Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend. This is what's going to happen. And because of that, I got moved into Bellator, and because my skill allows me to be there for Bellator and UFC. But then because I got in there, I was just like, oh, well, Trigg's here. Well, what does that mean? He's the only UFC Hall of Famer that's a referee right now. There was no other Hall of Famer that's a referee. I'm the only one. I'm the only referee that's out there that's ever fought in 2 title fights. Whether I won or lost them doesn't matter. I fought in 2 title fights. A title fight, even. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Not Herzog, not Beltran, not Bell, not anybody, not McDonald. None of those guys have fought in title fights in the big show.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, gives you a little more credibility. But also, too, when you mess up, it's a bigger screw up. It's a small screw up, but it's way bigger because I should know better. I should know better, And it's that too.
But I guess, but that, I don't want to talk too much about, judging and reffing because it's such a subject. Like,
it needs help.
Man,
it needs help. It definitely needs help.
Oh, it definitely does. But, I'm not the guy to help it. I'm a jiu-jitsu brown belt and jiu-jitsu guy who loves the sport, promoter, but I think they're making the right steps on having, like, here we are in our commission in Nova Scotia here. Not one person on the commission has any grappling experience or fighting experience for that matter. Boxing experience, but it's a different sport. Yeah. So the good start is, hey, maybe take some coaches, get them on the commission, that kind of thing. And so it is a good start, but
that's a long way to go. California bought Andy Foster. He used to fight. He fought in Georgia. He was a commissioner in Georgia. He's an attorney. He's executive officer of California. He has a very hard mindset of how MMA should be regulated. And he is pressed and he is pushed. And he's made this thing happen. As a result, now the best commission in the entire country. I'm a little biased. Entire world. It's the best commission in the entire world.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
California MMA. That's the best commission in the entire world when it comes to MMA. It's California. That's what it is. We have referee of the year is Goddard, or up for referee of the year. There's like 19 days left in what is that? The MMA World.
Yep.
Yeah.
World MMA Awards or something.
There's 5 referees. You have Goddard, who's from England, Dean, who's from Southern California, Beltran's from Southern California, Herzog's from Southern California, Trigg is from Southern California. 4 of the 5 are Southern California. What's that tell you about the refereeing in Southern California? Right? Now, part of it too is Dean travels a lot with the UFC, and he does a lot of the big fights. The big fights. Yeah. Beltran travels a lot with Bellator and does a lot of the big fights. And in California, when it comes here, Beltran or Dean gets the main event, co-main event, depending on which way they're going. And Herzog travels with the UFC quite a bit, and he gets the big matches here as well. So it's like these guys get seen, they get the reps. We have a lot more fights here, so a lot more reps. You get a lot more time inside that cage, trying to learn what you're supposed to be doing right or wrong. We're a very large amateur organization here called Camo. It runs out of, and so we all of us, when we're off, it actually gets suggested, hey, you need to do probably 10 or 15 Camo events this year. Oh wow, okay, all right, let me get on them. And you're like, okay, I'm doing, and the amateur pay. It's not, there's no real pay even in the big league. Like, let's understand that, but it's even less pay in the amateur. We still go reps in. So like, you get seen, you get your rep in. And so because you have, like anything else, the first podcast you did was not as good as the podcast is today.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get at it. That's how it works. So the more reps we get more reps down here. And that's how it works out. And we are by far and away the best set. I can honestly say, without boasting, without trying to be a dick or put anybody else down, that because of my time in California, you can put me on any card anywhere in the world with any group, and I can pull and I can ref, and I will have no problem of the importance of the fight or what the fight is going to do or how it's going to go. I can put it together. And this happens a lot with fighting. We talked about it earlier. Guys, obviously this guy's busy. This guy can't make it. I'm up for a refereeing job in Abu Dhabi here at the end of September because Mark Goddard is busy. And that's kind of how it works. Like, Goddard's busy doing something else, so then I get a phone call that I get to go over and do it. And so the right chain of events, all of a sudden I got the main event on a big card. Like, well, how did you get here? This other guy was busy. This other guy is out. This guy's not ready. This guy had earlier fights, so we needed him specifically on this particular fight earlier because the way this fight comes down, a lot of that goes on too. Like, this fight between you and I is going to be a different kind of fight. We need to have Herzog in there. We got to have Herzog's mentality, Herzog's understanding to get in there. We have to have him in there. Or we got to have Dan Miragliotta do it because 2 big-ass heavyweights. We need to have, so it's like you got to have these guys in there that can do it. And the optics of it, you don't want John McCarthy roughing 125-pound, 115-pound girls. Like, it looks weird. He's barely 3 times your size. It looks weird. Like, the optics of it. A lot, but can he ref it? Of course he can. So like the right chain of events, all of a sudden people get pushed in when you're there. And the thing is that because of Southern California being the way they are and making things push and trying to fix judging and trying to fix refereeing, and we have a Thursday meeting that we have to do twice a month where we get on, we watch old fights, we watch, and they're from a different era under different rule regulation. We watch them, grade them, and judge them as we under today's rules. And what would it be? A lot of these fights, the rules, like the wrong guy won. Back then, the right guy won. Back then, the right guy won. Under today's rules, the right guy won.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, that's how much the sport has changed. That's how much the sport has developed. Like, this is what we're looking at. Like, we're doing these kind of things. Like, making a totally different process of how we look at different positions, different movements from a judging standpoint. We're trying to fix it, and it's tough. Like, in 24 minutes, Dana White's Contender Series starts on ESPN Plus. I'm gonna watch it. For what reason? I know one fighter on there. I don't know any of the fighters, and to be honest, don't really care about the fighters. I'm not watching it because of the fighter.
The reffing.
I'm watching it from a refereeing standpoint, judging standpoint. How does this look? What does this do? What's going on? And I'm learning stuff from the refs that are working the show. I'm gonna learn stuff from Herzog. I think is there tonight, and Mark Smith, the black referee from Vegas. I think he's working tonight. And Chris Tione, the white guy, that white bald guy. I'm looking at them and watching what they do in certain positions and how they treat things. Chris Tione last week, a nut shot. Okay, guys, let's sit over in the corner. Take your time, just relax, take a breath. I didn't go talk to him real quick. Stay right here. Please don't talk to your coaches. We want to talk to him. Turns around, walks over. Hey, you got to be in control of all your kicks. You're in control of everything. I know it's incidental, but I really need you to take control of it. Corner, shh, don't talk. Shh. Can't coach right now. Right back. You're
properly.
Like, whoa, he is so calm. Like, what the hell? I'm like, stop doing that. Don't do that again. What you doing? Ready to go. Like, oh, wow, I got to change. So like all of a sudden, Chris taught me a lesson. Like, I gotta learn how to slow down. I gotta stop. I've called time. Slow down. Let everything stop. Let me breathe. Give that guy some time. Let him understand. Hey, I understand it's a groin shot. I've seen the replay now twice in a jumbotron. I understand to make hard contact. You have as much time as you need. Let me go talk to him. And you learn. It's a whole new verbiage. Like, obviously, you start learning a whole new demeanor. So when I'm watching fights, they're like, what do you think about that fight? Ref was great.
Yeah. Who won? I don't know. Who cares? That's guys.
Sure. I'm not. I got a verdict, but then they didn't answer who won. I don't know.
Man, wow, man. I don't know where to go from that, Frank, but I got to say, man, I'm super honored for you to join us here. And I was only expected to go a half hour with you. So for you to give me an hour of your time here, I really appreciate it. And
I got no problem talking long.
No, well, hey, it's one of those things. So, like, for me, I try not to keep it like a conversation and try to keep it light and not ask you the same goddamn bullshit that everybody else asks you. But I probably did.
Thank you for not asking me about the Hughes fight part 2. Thank you for not asking me. I mean, that's the only thing I want to talk about, or the Bruce Buffer elevator story. That's the only thing anybody wants to talk about. Right? Oh
man, yeah.
Now literally on a and they cut it out of the podcast. I saw the final result. But they asked me that question. I'm like, dude, I've been talking about this so much. Just go watch one of the other things I did and listen to what they're saying. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's the same answers. Like, nothing changes. It's the same. The fight was the fight. The fight was the fight. That's it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Read the book. Go read the book.
Read the book. Exactly. Yeah. Any final plugs you want to put in there, or
no, just I see on my head. My Twitter's at Frank Trigg. That's also me on Instagram and my Facebook fan page. Yeah, I think it still might be Frank Twinkle Toes Trigg, but it's me. It's a picture of me. Like, you notice it's me. Everything I do, like I said, I try to answer and talk to all my fans if they ask me questions. I do try to get back to them. I might gloss over your question if I find it kind of offensive or stupid, but I will come back to it eventually. It might be a month before I get back to it, as opposed to a couple hours, a couple days. But you do get some stupid questions of people, especially now.
I can only imagine
the way America's working right now. It's very difficult to why did you post this? It's completely wrong. Like, first of all, I don't post it as incorrect. I go down a rabbit hole and I search and I make sure that what I'm posting is actually correct. What happened is that you only read you only read you saw the picture and read the headline, and then you didn't read the whole article. So go back in and read the whole article and come back to me again when you read the whole article. Then you never hear from them again because now they're embarrassed.
Of course, yeah.
I've had people come at me like, "How do you know what it's like to be black in America?" Well, you have no right to say to any other black man how to be black in America. I'm like, well, because I'm black. That's how I know. So now you've offended me, and so you keep this up. I'm just going to out you to everybody else. So stop. Just back off of where your position is. And this is all private message. It's all slow DM. I'm going to keep it private. I don't try to put anybody out in blast. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to what they want to do and how they want to handle it. They go, so don't tell me what it's like to be black in America. I was born black in America. I've been it my entire life. And I'm privileged because I look white. So I have the privilege. So you come talk to me about privilege, I can tell you what privilege is like. I know exactly what being white privilege is all about because I've had it with a black father. It's like, okay, you got to figure this out. Try being raised by a militant black man and only playing white supremacists on TV. That's
Jesus. yeah. That's insane.
I was on Shooter, a show with
yeah, I know the show.
And I was playing a white supremacist. I was like, hey, Pop, just so you know, I'm playing a white supremacist. So you probably want to, my dad is super supportive of everything that we do. And he's like, he wants to see everything. And he wants to watch all of it. I'm like, hey, this is one episode you probably want to skip. I get a little racist in this. And I'm playing a white supremacist, whatever. He goes, what happens to you at the end? I go, well, on the script, I'm supposed to just get arrested and taken to jail. And I'm supposed to come later. I'm supposed to come back later in the thing. But the day of, the director decided to kill me off. So I die. I get a headshot and I die. He's like, oh, I'm watching it then.
yeah, perfect. That's PBR, no question.
Oh, what? What? Because you die. I don't care. I mean, you're dying. I'm perfect with that. I'm fine with it. You get yours. I'm good. I don't want to see you survive. I'm like, yeah, that's how it is. So I get stuff like that all the time, hate mail, and then my wife has to. My wife handles reads all my stuff, so she's like sometimes like, hey, you might want to answer this person back right away. I'm like, well, why? Like they're going down a real bad rabbit hole right now. You got to get a hold. You got to talk to them. I'm like, okay. And I get some people like just cry for help. You're a piece of shit. You suck. You're an asshole. Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, thanks for being a fan. I appreciate you paying attention to all the stuff I do, and thanks. Hopefully, I can turn you into a fan later. I don't think you don't respond. Well, yeah, I respond to everybody. Everybody knows I try to respond to everybody. Like TRT.
I love you now. I love you.
Like, oh, dude, man, you're so nice. You're so cool. And then, like, months later, hey, man, thank you so much for talking to me. I was really going through a really bad time. You kind of helped me out of it, blah, blah. And I'm like, I tell this to everybody. You're having a bad time? Hit me up. I got thick skin. I'm not scared. You're not going to bother me. You're not going to chase me down, right? And, I'm super liberal, but I got a lot of guns. I am not worried about my life. Like, you want to attack somebody? Come attack me. I'm okay with that. Right? Let's try to hash it out. Let's get you over your bad day. Let's try to figure your bad day out. Try to figure out how to make you happy. Give you a better day. If I can do that to one person a day, I've done my job. I've done my job as a human. I'm good,
It's true. There you have it, folks. Awesome. Well, man, those are fantastic words, fantastic advice, a fantastic hour. I can't thank you enough so much for, I'll call it Mr. Frank Trigg for joining me. And, lots of love to you guys out in California. And hopefully we can get you sometime maybe in Nova Scotia to
I'd love to
work one of our events or something like that.
I love traveling. that's one of my passions is seeing the world, man. I love it. Anytime I get a chance to go on a plane, man, it's like that's really one of those things that fills me up. Is like, even if it's just going someplace quick, just flying to Vegas real fast. Like, man, I love getting on planes. You get out of Nova Scotia, man. I'd love to come out to Nova Scotia.
Hey, man, we had Jimmy Smith actually come up for our first event and commentate the event too, which was kind of cool. So we're always looking to kind of.
Do you use Todd Anderson as one of your refs?
Who?
Todd Anderson?
No, it's all local commission guys. So like,
Todd's a cop in Toronto, just retired, but he's also refs down in New York all the time. He's right above it, so he's always at Madison Square Garden doing the shows, and he's always doing.
Oh man, we could probably use him. Let me tell you,
Todd's good. Todd's an amazing referee. He's really good. Like I really can't tell you enough. Like, he's really good. He's really good. And a guy that if you're like, hey, I don't want you to ref my fight because fighters have that they have that ability.
Yeah,
I don't want you to ref my fight. Okay, then you better put Todd on.
Yeah,
He's the guy that's going to be just as good as me on that group. Like, I put him in there, otherwise you're kind of stepping down. So that's my only opinion.
All right, there you go. If we do it, we got to bring you both together. All right, man. Lots of love. Enjoy the contender. Shout out to TJ Laramie, a good Canadian boy there on the cards, and I hope he does well. Thanks, man.
Take care, bud.
Fantastic, folks. Legend Frank Trigg. So cool to have him on our show, episode 100. Thanks for everybody tuning in and watching. I'm not sure what's going on with the lighting. I look very pale. My beard looks very yellow, and I look fat. But I did eat 2 Reese's Pieces ice cream sandwiches last night before I went to bed. Not a good idea. But I'll be training lots this week. Shout out to my coach, Jared McIntosh and Jared Rorson. I'll be down to get my ass kicked this week. I hope you're ready. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. Actually, tomorrow night, Brad Call, if you're watching, I'll be out with Clinch tomorrow night to do a little no-gi action. I'm excited for that. But fantastic episode. Everybody who commented, you got another, that's right, Steve, the camera adds 20 pounds. I don't know, 184 or so right now, I think. I don't know. I'm wrinkly. I'm 40 this year. No excuses, no cares. I'm in the present. I'm happy. Thanks for tuning in, folks. You got about 10 seconds to make a comment there. And then obviously tomorrow we'll do a little draw. I don't think anybody tagged 2 friends. So yeah, I guess our contest was kind of a bust, but we'll make sure to give it out anyway. If you can be anything in this world, folks, as always, make sure you can be kind. We will see you Monday with Braulio Estima, Monday night, and Tuesday night, Mark Hominick. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks to our friends and sponsors. Without you, none of this is possible.